Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this Friday morning, wrapping up a good week we've had here, some special guests and all kind of good stuff we've had a chance to share with you, and I appreciate the emails and the texts that y'all have sent this week. Let's take a look at our weather brought to us by Drew Pollard's company, Gulf Coast Air Conditioning, taking care of everyday comfort needs, and it's going to cool off a little bit. It's going to be, today high be 73, low 54, but then it's going to cool off some more later, the next couple of days. I know you've been following the weather. There's a 41% chance of rain today. I got tickled when I saw it because usually, it's like a even number, but you hardly ever see like 41% chance of rain. So that's from National Weather Service where I get my weather information. Take a look at our river readings. Apalachicola Bluntstown been stuck on 8.5 all week, which is not bad. And the Choctawhatchee Caryville is a 4.8. So both big rivers are steady and not a lot of movement going on. This little bit of rain we're getting may affect the Choctawhatchee a little bit maybe by Sunday. So today and tomorrow you'll be okay. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Another day or two of neat tides. But man, look at next week. Does that look great? Just flat out neat tides today. Our wind direction will be coming out of west, southwest at 13. It's actually been in double figures all week long. It's been the wind, but it's been, and I'm going to talk about that later on during the fishing report, how the wind just changes all the time, unless the front's coming through and it's steady. And I was out in the water the other day, and I just was marveled at how it changed in a couple of hours from one way to the other way. Okay, all right, let's do our fishing game time today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers on Friday. We like to do it in this segment. Our time is 12:53 a.m. to 2:53, and this evening after lunch, 1:15 to 3:15. Tell your boss you ought to just work half a day today and go fishing at 1:15 when the fish are biting. Take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Glad you're with us. Don't forget, folks, our Panhandle Outdoors shop now will be closing it down at the end of this month. And we may open it back up later. I don't know. I can't promise you that, but we'll see what happens. Travis and his wife are retiring and traveling around all over the place. So go ahead and get your orders in the month of March. April 1 is over with for now. So I just want to remind you on a regular basis, do that, okay? Now, we got some pictures here. We got all kinds of stuff to cover today, but I want to go ahead and mention this. On Monday's show, go ahead and make sure you watch Monday's show. I'm going to have two young ladies coming out from Alaqua, and I promise you that's going to be a special show. So next week's already lined up some good stuff. All right, first picture here. Ned Maxwell tagged me in it, and it's because he knows how a lot of those white squirrels. This is Mary Eliva Sizemore at Lake Talquin. There were neighborhood white squirrels up there, and there's just a big family of them is scattered out up there, and they're very special. Thank you, Ned Maxwell, for tagging me in that. Moving to Dana Sewell Cole, talking about cool animal pictures. Check it out. This is on the way home. Is that cool, Bobcat, or what? Okay. Amber Cox did this with her. This is her first Euro mount. She wanted something different from anything else, and pretty proud of it, and you should be, Amber. Look how it turned out. Let me show you the front view of it. Here it is in the front. Is that not cool? And she did it herself. Very nice. Mandy Warren, who has two teenage girls now, believe it or not, she was a teenager, seemed like last year. Okay, she said, this is some store. We do not have Wi-Fi. Talk to each other. And pretend it's 1995. It's amazing going out to eat and see people do all of this. Terry from Blue Water caught dinner this morning before the wind chased me off. We were just talking about the wind. I caught them on a Golden Boy, my favorite Paul Brown lure. And Terry is good about just catching a couple fish and taking them home and eating them. That's that soft plastic by Paul Brown. That's one of my favorite colors. I think he got that from me. So next time, save me one of those fish. That's good. Those speckled trout, fresh like that, the smaller ones. Now, if it's a big one, everybody lets the big ones go because they're at the breeding stage. But these small ones, great eating. Chuck Oliver, we're talking about the Spanish mackerel off the pier. This was last week, or during the first part of this week. And that's not a Spanish there, that's a bonita. I took this picture out fishing the other day on a fishing trip. This, I just looked at it. This is part of Tyndall, and which means it's been untouched by man, this section here. And this is how Florida looked on the coastline for hundreds of years. Palms and pines. That's all natural there. And here's another picture, a little close-up picture. And it was just a beautiful morning, not a cloud in the sky, and a couple of dead trees from Hurricane Michael, but I just want to share that with you. Sharing things, now, we're talking about seagrass, and I'm really concerned about it now because one reason pontoon boats are coming out with people not knowing, and they're going to be running all over these areas. We don't get them marked. But it takes seagrass. Okay, here's a picture of it being damaged. Okay, see, the scientists, this is Florida now, this is here in our bay systems. They measure this area, see where the boat motors run through it, and 3 years later, now, it only has a 20% regrowth. And the scientists are saying it takes about 10 years for that to fill back in. So and the seagrass, we know how important it is to our bay system, so I wanted y'all to be aware of that. I got a couple of funny ones here. I don't know much about bears, but I think they're married. I showed that to Gail and she said, ha ha. Now this is funny. We're talking about all the mosquitoes. Mosquitoes in the south, they're so strong, they feed off this insect repellent. So they go up here and feed off of it. I send that to Wind and Chip. They got a kick out of that. With big mosquitoes. Carol Miller sent this to me, and thank you for sending it, Carol. March the 21st, coming up in 11 days from now, the Citizen Science at Gulf Coast State College, they have this program they do, and this is going to be on sea turtles. Okay, at 6 p.m. They do them on a regular basis. And this is interesting. There's a presentation of sea turtle. Mr. Kennard Watson, he's a Turtle Watch director, and he's going to talk about the information on the Florida sea turtles, and they're like a lot of information about them now, and it's going to be sponsored by those groups of people there. So anyway, go put that on calendar. That'll be very interesting on March the 21st. Okay, and I think, let me see, that's going to wrap them up, my announcements and pictures for now. So let's go and take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Ran across this other night. I want to share it with you, some great photography, and I know you enjoy stuff like this. I get a kick out of it. It's give credit. Okay, here it is right here. Okay, check it out. Let me see. Here it is. Look at the ospreys coming out of the water. Look at those wings. Jeff Corwin sent it. Mark Smith photography. All right, he grabs his bait, his fish, and he's got lunch. But look at the magnificent, look how every part of his body, how it moves in unison to get him going like that. You realize how strong those wings have to be. But what great photography there. Good job. Thank you for getting that with me. So anyway, let's got to move along. We've got so much to do. I want to add names right now. Okay, Kenny Hicks, Cedar Grove, entered this week. All right, our Westfield viewing area, some of them, Nancy Barker, Westfield, William Barker, Westfield, Mary Cruz, Westfield, and Versi Cruz. They've been with us, I think, since we started. They've been watching the show. So, all right, now, speaking of giveaways, we're going to give away, I want to do an early part of the week. I'm going to put this right here. We want to give away some of our Weewall Wiggler bait and tackle donated. We talked about what they donated, some bait and tackle. So what we're going to do, we're going to give away a little prize package. The first in this package, and we're going to do this for like the next 4 weeks. This nice fly reel, okay? Now, this is all tackle. You can see all kinds of tackle. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to count it. I'm just going to get a handful of stuff, roll it out of just different things, and I'm going to try to save enough for like 4. I'm going to show you what's going to be in this one. Okay, trout trick. Ooh, the voodoo shrimp. I'm going to save that one. No, just kidding. There's 2 voodoo shrimp. Let me put this one back in here and take another one back out. Okay, a gulp. Gulp Jig Head, Slider Originals. How about some Z-Man? How about a Bagler bait? Hello, how long has Bagler bait been in business? How many fish have they caught? Oh, this is cool. That's real cool. That's a steel. That's metal right there. That's great trolling. A little fish in bite. Key Largo Jig Head. Listen, we've got a pompano season coming up. This is a flicker shad and a baby flicker shad, two different sizes. I like that. Yeah, both of those would be good. So this is going to be in the Wee Wah Wiggler prize package. What I'm going to do is put it in the bag here, put this in the bottom, and put all this tackle in it. And look, feel like I'm working at Winn-Dixie. Look at there. That's a pretty good prize. That's $75 worth, I'm sure, of stuff. So now we're going to draw the name of the winner of the Wee Wah Wiggler Bait and Tackle. Y'all stop by and see them and tell them thank you for sponsoring our spring sweepstakes. The winner's prize package is going to be, let's go all the way down to, from Panama City Beach, Jim Blythe. Congratulations, Jim. And what we'll do, we'll get this attached and we'll get it to you. If you're in town, just come by the studio. We'll get with Donna and see if she can be able to pass it, ring the doorbell, and see if she can pass it out to you. Okay. Now, let's get back to our format. One of the things the FWC sent recently, the horseshoe crabs. Horseshoe crabs are very active, especially April and May, which is obviously coming up. And send this notice here. Let me see if I can find it. Horseshoe crabs. It's in here somewhere. I must not have copied it up. Anyway, basically, when you see a horseshoe crab, what you want to do is basically turn them back over. Don't play with them or anything like that. Just turn them back over. So horseshoe crabs are very active this time of year. They're moving around. They're in the bay system. They're not in the Gulf too much. And St. Joe Bay has a bunch of them. San Andrew Bay and Choctaw Bay have some. I really, over the years, I go a lot, we're talking about past 50 years, I've been scalloping in St. Joe Bay, so over the years I've seen a lot of horseshoe crabs. Now, one thing I've noticed about them over the years, their population, their density, they're going down and down and down. And the tail is not actually, the tail that comes out, that's not actually a stinging tail. That's really, it sort of helps them keep their balance, and that's also how they can try to flip back over. It's part of the tail. You read up on them. They're interesting creatures. I want to talk about the neap tides we're having. We were out fishing the other day. We were fishing in a pretty tough situation. Had neap tides. We had a full moon a night or two before that, and we had a strong wind. And we were trying to catch some redfish. We took a friend along. We wanted him to catch some redfish, and I got tickled thinking about, here we are. But sometimes you have to go fishing when you get everybody lined up. You got 3 or 4 or 5 different people going fishing, and one has a problem here, one has a problem, previous commitment. So when you get that time, well, we're going to go. And don't matter what the weather's going to do, as far as we can just get out there. So we went at a tough time. But I was thinking while I was out there, we have like 5 or 6 days of neap tides this week. But I'm thinking, these fish are not going to just not eat for 5 or 6 days. They're still going to eat. These birds are still going to be diving out there. They're just won't be maybe as active as they would with that moving tide going back and forth, but they still got to eat. So with that kind of attitude is how we approach our fishing trip. We got to move around a little bit more. We got to find them, but they're going to be eating something. So I want you to have that kind of attitude when you go, even though sometimes the circumstances may not be good. You go fishing when you can. And it's very important. My dad would go every Saturday morning. It didn't matter what the weather was. He had off Saturday morning. He was going to go. And he sometimes brought home a string full like that, sometimes a string full like that. But he went every Saturday. So keep that in mind. Now, let's go to our regular giveaway, Tarpon Rock Seafood. Check with Clay down there. It'll be a good weekend having seafood. In fact, we're going to be, next week, we're going to have a little seafood buffet with our crew. Everybody's coming out for spring break, so we're going to set up a seafood night. I'm looking forward to that. All right, the winner of the $20 gift certificate is going to be from Fountain. We're looking at Carson Hathaway, the Hathaway crew up there in Fountain. And the winner of the Big Red Snapper, what we call the money fish, is going to be from Alpha William Jones. William won one last year, I remember. Good job, William. Okay, we're gonna get set up and get for our famous Friday fishing forecast, to get everything set up, all kind of cool things to talk about, some good reports. So we'll check with you right back after the commercial. Okay, welcome back. Glad you're with us for the famous Friday fishing forecast. We have all kind of information. It's been a good week considering the neap tides and the river has settled off, so it's been good. This first report, Mitch Coleman has gotten back to sending us a weekly report on what's going on, especially this time of year. So I'm basically just going to read his report from Mexico Beach. So we're covering Mexico Beach area, Captain Mitch Coleman, and he said the water is warm to 74 degrees, out to the bell shoals, and the Spanish mackerel are in scattered schools from 15 to 25 feet. Now, that's important now, that depth. Troll mackerel trees with small trolling weight. That's just, about an ounce and a half. Good sized triggers on most artificial reefs from 50 to 80 foot. So if you're going after trigger fish, 50 to 80 foot. They use chicken rig and squid strips. Some flounder around the rubble piles using a jig tip with shrimp. That's always a good thing to do if you can just tip a little bit of shrimp on that jig. But flounder, they're catching a few flounder. Sheephead still around the day markers in bay and on buoy chains along the shipping channel. I always learn where that shipping channel is because remember you have such a drop off, but on the edge of it, a lot of activities going around on those channels. You chum them up with shrimp heads. So don't throw those shrimp heads away when you get all those shrimp. Those shrimp heads are good, great chum. Chum them up with shrimp heads and then float a shrimp head with a small, strong hook on it. So that's some good information from Captain Mitch Coleman down in Mexico Beach. Sort of covers it all. Now, what I wrote down, first word I wrote down, good. It's been a good week. And I apologize. I planned on calling Seacoast Marina beginning the show. We had so much to do. I didn't put them off. I just forgot to do it. I had it written down, but I was just moving so fast. So what I want to talk about the chocolate. We'll start on Choctahatchee. Let's go on Choctahatchee. I saw a great pic of a 40-inch redfish over here in Destin at the bridge. Okay, right here. 40-inch redfish. We're talking about those bull reds, catching the bull reds with the tide moving. The tide was not moving that much in Choctahatchee either, but they're able to get some live bait and just a little bit of movement. Like I said earlier, those fish are still going to eat. So they over there has been doing good. Coming back in, let's talk about the Spanish in general. They're all along here now. They're catching them off the piers. We went out a day or two ago, day before yesterday, and we were able to get in, see some Spanish, especially on the screen. But it's interesting, they were just in pockets, not really big schools. They're in pockets, and I think the bigger schools will be coming in shortly. So keep that in mind. You're going to have to move around, just keep moving and find them in pockets once you see them on the screen. And they were deeper than we thought they were going to be. And the bigger ones, they look like they're showing up. They're on top of the school, so or the little pocket of them. They weren't really big schools, and I called some people I knew who were fishing that day, and they were having the same experience we were having. So keep in mind on the Spanish, they are here, and as it warms up another degree or two, it's still going to be more and more coming in. So I wrote down the Spanish. Brock Meyer, he posts on a regular basis, and I keep checking with him because he's become a surf fishing expert. He came down here and didn't know anything about fishing, but had the love for it, had a passion to do it, and just learned to be not just a good fisherman, a real good fisherman, and started taking people out. He has a little surf fishing guide service now, so he'll post, but he posted some really nice whiting. And this time of year, the whiting, they feed all winter. They're voracious feeders in the winter. And they sort of fatten up, and there's some really nice whiting out. So I've been talking about pompano and put whiting on the back burner, but next week I'm going to go after whiting and pompano. So it's going to be, should be good stuff going on with that. Also freshwater, the bass, we know what the bass are doing. They're really heating up as far as getting closer in shallow water. getting those beds fanned out, and they're going to start, doing the eggs and getting protect them. So the bass fishermen, you look at the tournaments, there are tournaments right all over the place, right and left, that people having bass tournaments, and the reason they are because a lot of bass are biting this time of year. Pond fishing, if you have a chance to get to a freshwater pond, and there are a lot of them out here now, April, as we're getting into late March and April, is just going to be ideal fishing. So especially catfish and brim. There's going to be some good time doing it. It's heating up, more bugs on the water, more bait. So pond fishing is going to be good. Getting back to Spanish, we're talking about trolling. Keep it between 5 and 7 miles per hour. Right now, the folks I was with, I was telling that we want about 5 to 7. He looked down and he said, we're going 6. So I said, you're right on. So that's going to be a lot of activity as far as catching fish this coming weekend will be. Then the wind might be a factor, but get out of the wind if you can. But go ahead and troll that. Use your mackerel tree. Put about an ounce weight on it, and put 3 or 4 of them out if you can. 2 behind the boat and then 2 on outriggers, and that's how I like to do it. It's a lot of fun to catch those. If you want to do some bridge fishing, it's going to be good. The drum bite was good this past week. We're talking about St. George Island fishing should be good. I didn't get the Carabel report, but I can promise you I'll be talking to them. I'm going to talk to them this weekend and see what's going on, and we'll talk more about it next week about the activities going on down there. But the state parks, surf fishing at the state parks, St. George Island, or out here, go to St. Andrews State Park and fish off. If you want to catch them, seriously, if you want to catch some really nice Spanish right here, I'm talking about Deepwater Point right here, Sandy Point, we'll call it Deepwater Point, right there in the middle of the screen. You can go in the state park, drive out there, and just fish along the surf. I promise you this weekend I'll be at 25, well, maybe 20-something fishermen right in that area right there spread out. So if you get a chance to do it, got to wrap it up this week. Don't forget next week, Monday's going to be a special show, and all kind of good shows coming up next week. So thank you all for watching our show. We definitely appreciate the viewership. Do something good for someone else today. You have a great weekend. Enjoy the outdoors. Take care of it, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.